Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aaron Blade, and I'm the editor, creator, and producer of what you're watching right now, Blade Talk. If you are new here, welcome, and you found this presentation helpful, informative, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Do me an even greater favor and subscribe to my channel. I always appreciate all the support that I am given. So, had a little extra time on my hands and wanted to go through some more questions that were sent my way via comments and email. So, surprise, surprise, we have another Q&A session. That being said, without further ado, hit that intro and let's begin. All right, so as I said, I got a few moments of time on my hands, and I love answering questions. I love interacting with my viewers and subscribers. So here we are. Without further ado, let's get started and jump into our first question. First question, was Jesus a priest in the order of Melchizedek? All right, so the short answer is no. Okay, Jesus wasn't a priest at all. All right. And the first point I want to make is Melchizedek is not a name, okay? It means righteous king, all right? Christians like to think that it's a name, and it's not. As I stated before, you can't have two biological fathers, okay? It's impossible. And your dad determines which tribe you come from. So Christians can't say that Jesus is the great sacrifice because only priests can make sacrifices. And, aside from the fact that human sacrifice is an abomination, sacrifices can only be done in the temple, put that aside for right now. Only priests can make sacrifices. And at the same time, Christians like to claim that Jesus is the king, the Messiah, right? The problem is the two are mutually exclusive jobs, okay? If you're a priest, you're from the tribe of Levi. If you're a king or the Mashiach, you have to be from the tribe of Judah. And as I stated, you can only have one dad, okay? Christians like to try to get around this by saying that Jesus was a priest in the order of Melchizedek, okay? And they get this from the book of Hebrews, which I don't have to tell people has an anonymous author. We don't know who wrote it. We don't know who wrote the Gospels, for that matter. The author of Hebrews has essentially mutilated the Jewish scriptures. I'll give you two examples, okay? The first is the book of Hebrews states that because we didn't keep God's covenant, he disregarded us, attempting to quote Jeremiah, but this is not what Jeremiah says. Jeremiah states, I was a husband to them. So you see how the author of Hebrews are purposely changing the words around, okay? Then the author attempts to quote Psalms chapter 40, verse 7, 40, verse 6, if you're in a Christian Bible, stating, sacrifices and offerings you didn't require, but a body you prepared for me. This is not what Psalms says. Psalms states, sacrifices and offerings you did not desire, but my ears you have opened. So go to any Jewish school and ask a child. You can ask a child, all right, what the Hebrew word here is referring to in this passage. The word is oznaim. Ask a child what oznaim is. Ask them to point to it. Doesn't mean body. That child will go, it's your ears, oznaim. Ears, okay? So they're banking on the fact that you don't know Hebrew. Again, this isn't a mistake. They're doing this purposefully, okay? So already the author of Hebrews has lost all credibility. But to answer your question, Okay. The author is playing a word game with the word Kohen. Kohen literally means someone who holds office, someone who holds high office. Okay. In Exodus chapter 19, for example, as we're getting the commandments, as we're getting the mitzvot, God calls all of us Kohanim, just plural for the Kohen, Kohanim, right? Doesn't mean that we're all a descendant of Aaron, right? We hold a high office in this world. Our job is to spread Torah, repair this world, make it a better place, right? But if we look at 2 Samuel chapter 8 verse 18, we see that King David's sons were called Kohen. Does that mean they were priests from Aaron's line and can perform sacrifices? No. Right? And if you look at the Bible, if you pull it up, your Bible will typically translate it correctly in terms of, it'll say chief ruler or advisor or counselor or something like that. But it's the same Hebrew word Kohen. Now, if we go back to Genesis chapter 14, we see that Melchizedek, king of Salem, which was Shem, who was Noah's son, was blessing Abraham, essentially passing the torch to him, right, for saving his nephew Lot. Okay. Instead of translating the word Kohen here to ruler or counselor or advisor, they translate it to priest. Okay. So that way you start thinking about the priestly line of Aaron. So when Hebrews uses Kohen and forces Jesus in, you think that Jesus can perform priestly duties. Okay. They could have said in Hebrews that Jesus was a ruler, a counselor, what have you, in the order of Melchizedek, but then it wouldn't mean as much because you won't be manipulated by the word priest. Okay, so no, Jesus was not a priest, and this whole notion of Hebrews plays a dirty game. Okay, they misquote passages. Again, Kohen, they're manipulating this word Kohen. Kohen means someone who holds high office. And at that time, Shem, or Melchizedek, he was a righteous king and he held high office. But the Bible translates it to mean priest. So then you start thinking, oh, so Jesus was a priest in the order of this king. Because they didn't translate it to advisor in the order of Melchizedek or ruler in the order of Melchizedek. This was purposefully done. This isn't an accident. Okay? So they're playing mischief with the word Kohen, banking that on you to think of priest, think of Aaron, and oh, there's a loophole that Jesus can essentially use, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Okay, Kohen means someone who holds high office, right? Someone who is, a ruler, an advisor, things like that. Okay, but again, the Bible is purposefully translating it to priest here so that, again, you can be manipulated. So, again, knowing Hebrew is very important. Hope that answers the question. Next question. What are your views on Kabbalah? All right. So I was going to make an entire presentation on Kabbalah. So personally, I'm not in need of a mystical side of Judaism. I know some Chabad believe that Kabbalah is part of the oral law. I adamantly disagree. Okay. Kabbalists believe that if someone happens to convert, okay, it is because they were Jewish all along. They had a Jewish soul. And they use this notion to justify discouraging or pushing away potential converts. The thinking is that they are actually reincarnated Jews, and they will jump through any hoop or bust down any obstacle to essentially get back to being Jewish, right? As opposed to a non-Jew, you're just in an irredeemable state. Okay, this is why Jews don't proselytize or help non-Jews essentially convert. Okay, I personally believe that if you have more converts adhering to Torah, the world will be a better place. Okay, Kabbalists don't live by that reality. Okay, they believe in a metaphysical reality. Okay, meaning if you have a Jewish mother, then you are to abide by the Torah. And if you don't have a Jewish mother, then you are to abide by the 7 laws of Noah. Right? So if you have a Jewish mother, your mission is to follow the Torah. And if you don't, your mission is to obey the 7 laws of Noah. You can't grow or challenge your nature. You can't change that. Okay? Going from where you are now to where God wants you to be doesn't exist. All right? The laws that were given at Har Sinai were to benefit us and keep us progressing in an ethical manner. Okay? In other words, the laws were practical, and this notion of a spiritual meaning behind it were very minimal before the era of the Tanaim. Okay? The Kabbalist movement introduced fatalism to the Jewish world. Okay? And what I mean by that is the belief that everything that happens is predetermined and therefore inevitable. Okay? I don't believe biblical Israel could have progressed with this ideology. So for me personally, I take Kabbalah with a grain of salt. The Rambam didn't follow it either. Okay? I believe that you are either a Torah-keeping Jew or you're not. Okay? Kabbalah is the reason that we have Buddhist Jews, or you walk up to someone, say, "Oh, I'm Jewish, but I'm also atheist." Like, what are you talking about? It doesn't even make sense. But this is because of Kabbalah, because Kabbalah states that what makes you Jewish is the soul that resides in you. Okay? Not what you believe, not what you do. And non-Jews shouldn't become Jewish because they essentially have their own laws that they need to be following. Okay? I strongly believe that if the Jewish nation had more converts and were more welcoming, then it will make the world a better place. We should encourage people to keep Torah. We are the Kohanim in this world. We are to teach people Torah. Right? And what Kabbalists do is say, no, we're only going to focus on the Jews keeping Torah, and everyone else, you just obey the 7 laws, right? And it creates this superiority-inferiority complex, as if non-Jews aren't good enough to transition over to being Jewish. And I reject that premise, okay? Again, there may be some nuggets of wisdom in there, but I don't see Kabbalah as, the oral law at all. Okay, the oral law to me are the explanations of the mitzvot that we got on more of a physical nature. Okay, an explanation of the laws that we got, and it's also the laws that we wrote down from the Sanhedrin, right? We keep those, we cherish those laws, right? But all this spiritual and, you have a Jewish soul and all of this stuff, it creates a superiority complex that I personally choose to reject, okay? Anyone can become Jewish as long as they believe in the one God of Israel and they adhere to keeping Torah, okay? So that's my personal belief on Kabbalah. Hope that answers the question. Next question. Historically, does Israel really belong to the Jews? So, I'll teach you all something, okay? Go around the world and tell me which country belongs to the people that live there. Go around the entire world and tell me which country belongs to the people that currently reside there. Not one. Every people who live everywhere in the world took the land from someone else without exception. Okay? We're the only ones who are living in our land from the beginning. Eretz Israel was given to Noah's son Shem. Okay? Egypt was given to Noah's other son Ham. Okay? Ham's grandson Canaan came and took the land of Israel away from the children of Shem. It became Canaan, the land of Canaan. Okay? God told Abraham, go and take back the land from Canaan and make it a holy land. We are living in the land that has been ours since the flood. Who did it belong to before? They died in the flood. So when we come to the land of Israel, we are coming back to the land that has been given to us since the beginning of land and countries. Okay? We are the only ones in our land. Yes, that land belongs to the Jews. Hope that answers the question. Next question. How do you deal with all the negativity in the world right now? Honestly, I turn it off. I tune it out. I don't surround myself with negative people at all. I even limit myself with the amount of pop culture that I take in. I don't really follow what celebrity is getting married to what other celebrity, the Travis Kelce, and Taylor Swift. I don't follow that stuff. I don't care who's getting divorced. I quickly found out from watching news outlets that people make more money if they're covering the bad things, right, that are happening instead of the good. You're more likely to click on something that says racist cop or, something horrible happened than you are a new baby was born. And so, being that that's the case, they follow a strict algorithm. The drama and the bad things sell. So that's what they push out. Doesn't even matter in this generation if it's true or not. So occasionally I'll listen to Ben Shapiro on the Daily Wire from time to time. For the most part, I stay away from extremist ideologies. Okay, people like Rabbi Reuven, for example, I find are dangerous. I don't have anything personal against them, but when you have an ideology that establishes some kind of superiority, then I tend to drift away. Okay, I don't want to hear anything negative about anyone. Okay, I am saying that I come on this platform and I don't encourage any Jews to violate the Torah. Okay? I'm not saying on this platform saying that that's okay. All right. I'm saying that God still loves you and we all miss the mark. We all out here trying to make it. Okay. Just be better than the person you were yesterday. All right. Personally, you know, I'm not going to bash, you eat pork or you're violating this law. Yeah, I stay away from Lashon Hara. Okay. I'm not going to bash or scare people into my message. I'm going to say, hey, we all missed the mark and it's okay. It's okay. Let's do better next year. Let's do better tomorrow. We can change, we can grow, we can evolve. That's what I push. I stay away from extremist ideologies, which is why I find myself in the conservative movement, because it's the middle of the road and it has to me, my personal experience, the most diversity, the most range of ideas without judging each other. If you're reform, as I stated, if you're reform and you're not liberal, it's hard to make friends. Okay? If you're not, pro choice, if you don't support the LGBT, the Black Lives Matter, you want to ban guns, things like that, it's very political. Okay? And on the Orthodox side, if you don't keep the mitzvot exactly the way the Orthodox do, you're not Orthodox. And I stay away from extremist ideologies like that. I want to remain an individual. Okay? And not be judged because I may not keep a mitzvah the same way you keep it. Or, I may support a political ideology that may be different from yours. No. So I want you, in terms of negativity, I don't surround myself with negativity at all. And that's how I remain positive. Listen carefully. If you're fat, people think that you eat too much. If you lose weight, people think that you're sick. If you dress well, people say that you're showing off. If you dress simple, they say you're poor. If you're serious, people say that you're boring. If you're funny, people say that you're immature. If you speak your mind, people say that you're rude. If you're single, people say that you're lonely. If you're successful, people say that you're arrogant. If you're struggling, people say that you're lazy. If you're honest, people say that you're naive. If you're dishonest, people say that you're untrustworthy. No matter what you do in life, people will always criticize you. So do what fulfills you. Utilize your gift. Stay away from negativity. Get away from it. Get away from it. You can't grow being surrounded by people that have no ambition, no goals, and they just want to sit and gossip about celebrities and what they're doing. It makes no sense to me. Get away from that. Hope that answers the question. Next isn't a question, but I thought I'd read it. States, Shalom, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know how much your channel has meant to me. I have been watching your presentations on conservative Judaism during my journey from Christianity to conservative Judaism. I will be completing my journey of conversion next month. Thank you again for all that you do. It really does help to see a black practicing non-Orthodox Jew showing how they do Jewish. Thank you again. And that, my friends, is why I do what I do. That means the world to me. It means the absolute world to me. I stated that if I could just touch one, if I could touch one, then all of this is worth it. Right? What I want people to do is get back to the Torah. My goal on this channel is to spread Torah. That's it. I'm not worried about, celebrities and popular trends and the agendas being pushed and whatnot. Let's get back to Torah. The Christians claim that it's obsolete, it's no more. The Muslims claim that it's been corrupted and replaced. I'm on this platform to prove to those individuals that it's not. The Torah still works. The atheists believe that it's irrelevant. I'm here to say that it is still relevant and it still works. I don't depend on some supernatural claim or anything. It works. It works. It builds you up ethically, morally. Now, of course, you have certain laws that, are no longer fitted to the time. Okay, because you got some that'll point out, oh, this, look at women and this, that. That was a different time. But the ethical laws on how to treat your fellow man, they still work. Don't steal, don't murder, believe in one God, honor your mother and your father. They work. And once you understand that concept, you don't fall into cults, you don't fall into anything else. You have a strong foundation. I'm an independent thinker, which is why I proudly am a part of the conservative movement. I got a question that, the conservative movement, their numbers are going down. Does that concern me? Not at all. Because I believe that there will always be people out there like me that will stay away from the extremes of Judaism. People fall into extremist ideologies. There will always be people like me that, I want to think for myself. As long as you're anchored by Jewish law. I encourage people to, again, utilize their gift. It kills me in this day and age of social media, TikTok and whatnot, that it is killing people's attention span. Because they're constantly scrolling and they're addicted. They're constantly scrolling, and before you know it, 2 hours have went by. 5 hours have went by. People can't even do their jobs anymore because they're so addicted to Facebook. They see a notification and they can't resist. And it kills me because if we put that same effort into utilizing our gift, we would, in my opinion, be thriving as a society. I think that we could inspire more engineers, doctors, scientists, psychologists. But imagine how many kids go down the rabbit hole of TikTok. And that same amount of time that you're on social media, you could be learning to play an instrument. You could be learning a new language. Learning something new about, a culture, right? So to me, I think that there is a war going against young people's minds. I think that they're trying to take away people's uniqueness. Social media breeds group thinking. So now everybody wants to model their life after some celebrity, or a celebrity posts something, and they are getting into this worship culture of celebrities, and that is very dangerous. That's very dangerous because you don't have your own individual thoughts anymore. So I urge people to think. I don't think that the conservative movement is going anywhere. I think that there will always be people that want to remain individuals and think for themselves and not fall into the trap of, you know, well, this celebrity said this, or this great rabbi said this. And think for yourself. That's how you know you're not in a cult. You really want to know whether or not you're in a cult? Disagree with the leader and see if that leader still respects you. My rabbi believes that essentially God didn't write the Torah. It's not divine. I believe that it is. I believe that the Torah definitely comes from a divine source. So it's a disagreement, and we can have fun with different interpretations and whatnot. But the moment, like I said, you want to find out whether or not you're in a cult, disagree with the leader. And if people start giving you a side eye, if people start, to treat you a certain way because you hold a difference of opinion, so for me, be an individual. And I'm glad, and it makes me feel honored that I could touch people and convince them that just think for yourself. There are some things that, I admire Rabbi Akiva, right? I admire the Rambam. I admire absolutely Rashi, Rabbi Hillel, but there may be things that I disagree with all of them on. But I still respect them and admire who they are. And that's okay. Right? But society is pushing that it's not. You have to agree with everything. It's never going to be who I am. And I personally believe that there will always be people that think the way I do. Like, you're not going to scare me into believing what you believe, like Rabbi Reuven does, right? Again, nothing personal to him, but he uses a scare tactic and tries to say that, well, if you're Reform, if you're conservative, if you're this, you're that, you're only Jewish if you convert the Orthodox way. And everybody else, you're non-Jews. Is that what Jewish law states? Does Jewish law support that? No. Conversion to Judaism is one page and is very simple. But you would know that listening to him. Right? I stay away from extremist ideologies, and you should too. Anyone that tries to convince you that we're better than X, Y, and Z, or we're better than, and tries to create this superiority and this goes for everyone. The Hebrew Israelite movement, it's extremist. I stay away from it because it says that if you're a certain race, you're automatically superior to another race. No, absolutely not. That makes no sense. I didn't choose this race. It's what I do that determines who I am, how I choose to live my life. Right? So, again, I stay away from extremist ideologies. And that's how I remain, you know, level headed. I think that that's dangerous. That's how I keep my individual thoughts on my own. And then people come and say, you're so wise, you're so mature, you're so. Just think for myself. I don't get caught in other celebrities and this, that, and the other. The moment I feel like you're trying to make me superior to someone else, I don't want it. I'm okay. And that was the way I felt in the Orthodox. Well, we keep more laws. So reform, they're not doing it right, or you're above them because you keep more laws. Nope. 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 Everyone has different circumstances that may affect the way that they can do the laws. Maybe you don't live in a Jewish community. Maybe you don't have access to kosher food. Right? Maybe you don't have the money for kosher food. And you want me to believe that God is going to condemn them because of the circumstances that they find themselves in. Are you trying to do better? Are you trying to be better than the person you were yesterday? And are you doing teshuvah? Are you doing, eating pork to wage war against God? Or are you trying to stop? And it's just hard. You really love bacon cheeseburgers. And for some people, they can look down on other people and say, well, it's just food. You can stop in it. Everyone is fighting their own battles. Okay? Just because something comes easy to you or it's so simplistic to you doesn't mean that that same logic applies to everyone. When we were receiving the Torah at Har Sinai, tradition teaches that we all heard the Torah in our own way. We all got the Torah in a different way. So you can't sit here and say that, well, in my experience, you may have better resources. You may have the money to do what you do. You may have the circumstances, the environment, the surroundings that help you. Not everybody has that. So I'm never going to bash someone. I'm going to uplift them and say, just do the best you can. Just do the best you can. And let's try to be better than who we were yesterday. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Thank you all so much for your questions. It really means a lot to me. My goal is to be the largest Black conservative Jew on this platform. And with your help, we're getting there, almost at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Blade Talk. Please like, share, subscribe. And until the next episode, be good to yourselves, be good to others. and I'll see you next time. You all take care.